Is everybody in? Is everybody in? The show is about to begin.
Hey, welcome to another episode of Concerts That Made Us. I'm your host Brian, and first off I just want to thank you guys for the overwhelming response I got to last week's episode. It really blew my mind. It's definitely been the most successful episode to date, especially on Facebook. I mean, it got well over 1,000 likes, lots of comments, lots of shares. Really kind of blew up. And as you may not know, Facebook is kind of near impossible for a podcast to get exposure on. So thank you very much. Now, as always, find us and follow us on social media. Just search for Concerts That Made Us podcast. Rate and review us on iTunes. Really helps the show grow. Find us and follow us on your favourite podcast player of choice and of course YouTube. Don't forget to check out the website at www.concertsthatmadeus.com. And if you'd like to support the show, you can do so by signing up at patreon.com/concerts that made us. Help keep the wheels turning here at Concerts That Made Us. Now, my guest this week is a very exciting artist. His name is Matt Wagner, but you might know him better as Mnerva. We have a great chat all about his career and end up on the topic of mental health and music. It's a great chat I know you're going to love. So, without further ado, let's get on with the show.
Yeah. Hey. I tend to get a bit excessive. Whenever I'm into someone, I never seem to learn my lesson. I get so excited and then I make a bad impression. When I get nervous, I enter a fucking panic. No companion cause I'm manic and I don't hold nothing back for nobody. That's always been the goal. What you see is what you get, probably why I always been alone. So it seems that I won't find the girl my dreams know. Unless I find a way to keep my motherfucking mouth under control. How the hell can't connect somebody if I'm not allowed to be myself? Gotta use stealth, isn't faking bad for my health. I'm a wealth of knowledge and a bundle of fun, but no one will take the time to see it cause I'm way too much. Let me give you all a taste of what I mean at 17. I read every Harry Potter in 2 weeks, didn't sleep cause I had to be an expert to impress you. Feels crazy, I know I can be a gesture. A gestures be a lie, I ain't lazy. At the time I heard those girls' favorite eyes was Rihanna, so I took it on myself to listen to all the albums in a day. No comments, try to start a conversation. Told her all about my album rankings. I wasted a bunch of time, got no reply to alienation. You can blame it on my ADD, alienation. I'm impatient when I'm dating, my heart is racing. The temptation to make a statement that's outrageous, it's contagious. I'm so brainless and maybe if I listen more, I get out of stasis. I'm just looking for connection. I wanna find someone and live out my dreams like Inception. I want for deception, I just want affection. I'm restless cause my life's rejection. That shit is depressing, I'm destined to fail. Talking about not be my Achilles heel. Under the veil I be pale, I'm fucking scared, can I prevail? Every attempt's to avail. I'm trying to stay positive, but I don't think God will answer my prayers.
Whoa man, that was like sick.
Dude, I ain't done. That was nothing, man. You should see me talk about, like, anime. And all of my friends and happy parents tell me that it just takes time and that I'ma find somebody and whether with the thought from my mind. No point trying to force shit, isn't that important? You can live a happy life without a weight that's where then the future will be bright. What you think I've been doing? Our years while looking for the one. It was fun, but I'm done with the hookups to the hunt. Cause when I wasn't searching, nobody found me in the fray. I should never say never, but I'll never find somebody unless I'm playing the game. But whenever I do, I always get hurt. I'm cursed if I ever open up to somebody, I get burned. I've learned nothing apparently. Every time I try, I'm proud of my mistakes. If I make any strides, I'm insane. Can I break from a pattern and attain never after? I can fucking wait till next chapter when I get to put a ring on a Saturn. That don't matter if I can't turn the page, I'm afraid cause this weight makes me hate fate. So is this my destiny or can I change Vader? Can I be quiet and turn on my game faders? But how do I peel back the onion to show layers? Will my super map make them daughters go home? Mayor, who says there's no such thing? I know something missing. Girls got me free falling. Love on the weekend is not what I'm looking for. No, I want clarity, but when I speak I always feel as though gravity's working against me. I put so much pressure on myself to find my person, but forcing it isn't gonna help. I know that well, but I excel at overdoing my comments and forcing the girls into saying farewell. I got a habit of putting all my eggs in one basket, so whenever I do something stupid, it's so classic. I always wonder what happened to fools, it's real tragic. Probably would've better luck if I was in a straight jacket. Probably would've better luck if I was in a straight jacket. The problem of my habit is it's a magnet for dramatics, and people are the bashing what I say with a fucking hatchet. They say that I'm a basket, in case you're cracking. I ain't laughing, cause women got talent for name trashing and being savage. In fact, it's impossible for me to break the cycle, cause my reputation's been stained. My big mouth just went viral, and now every girl in the city be judging me quickly, cause men can be innocent, everyone's guilty. I don't know what I'ma fucking do. Should I give up and just up and move? Got red in my ledger, I want it gone. My future is black, that's my widow song. Yeah, I need a change of pace, I'm looking for a clean slate, cause I wanna get my record erased. My words are weapons and I'm a felon. In essence, my bad impressions would lessen if I turned down from 11. It's time to do something and I'm ready to adjust. I must shut my mouth and hush up for one. So for this one on, let me vent my ways, I'm shutting up, cause the reason I'm alone is I motherfucking talk too much.
Hey Matt, you're very welcome to Concerts That Made Us.
Hey, how we doing today, Brian?
Not too bad, not too bad. And yourself?
I'm doing good, man. Just getting started with the day.
Good, good. It's kind of funny. I'm just winding down my day. You're just getting started.
It is crazy how time zones work. It's literally time.
Yeah. Can be very confusing at times, especially for stuff like this.
Oh yeah.
So we opened the show with your single "Talk Too Much." Would you like to tell us a bit about it?
Yes, so Talk Too Much was it's probably one of the most experimental, strangest songs I've ever made in my life. Every rapper has their flex track, is how I say it. And so I was like, yo, I kind of want to write one of those types of songs, like where it's just straight bars and there's no chorus. But like, I don't know, I kind of wanted to do it my own way. So I was like, I'm a drummer. So I was like, yo, what if I like put this in like 5/4 instead of 4/4? And then just that opened up a crap load of just new like rhythmic like options. And I don't know, I just found it was so freeing, like, you know, working on this beat. It's actually the only song I've ever produced myself. So that track is a very special one for me, because so much blood, sweat, and tears went into learning how to use Ableton for it. But and then my main collaborator, Andrew Gomez, he took it from like 75% to 100%. And to this day, that one live is just, it's a wonderful experience. People are just like, I don't know what to do with this, but I'm just going in. Like, no.
Really gets the crowd going.
Yeah. Oh, very much so. Yeah. I always like, I don't start shows with that, but it's usually like in the first act, if you will, before like, you know, we pause the music for the first time.
Yeah. It's interesting you picked that one then to produce yourself afterwards. Were you feeling like you might want to do it again, or was it like, no, I'm done, that's way too much, I'll just stick to making the songs and get someone else to do the work?
You know, I'm definitely open to doing it again. I think it would have to be another song like Talk Too Much. We're like, all right, this is a really out there idea. Like, cause I knew, okay, I gotta get this beat started. Cause like once a producer hears like what I got, it's like, okay, cool, I see what you're doing now. Let me take it to the next step. But if I just came up to a guy like, all right, man, hear me out. I got 2 32 bar verses and a 16 bar verse, no chorus in 5/4. He'd be like, no, next.
Yeah. So you might have to produce it yourself.
Exactly. So yeah, if I ever wanted to do something like that in the future, I probably would start it myself again. But I don't know, like being that I grew up as a drummer, like song structure and like arrangement has always been something that like I've really enjoyed doing. So like when I first moved to Nashville, I really wanted to be a music producer, and then I quickly discovered I hate mixing to save my life. So there's no way. But the actual like creation of tracks and like, you know, arranging and stuff, like I love doing it. And if it took less time, I would do it more often.
Yeah. I get you. I have to mention, people would know you better as Mnerva. Where does the name come from? It's a very interesting one.
Yeah. So actually, if you look at this little poster in the back right here, it's a Deftones poster. So my Deftones is one of my favorite bands. When I decided I wanted to be an artist, I was working at a guitar shop, and it was just a desk job. I was very much like, I'm over this. On my last day, I was just finishing the day, like, oh my God, 5 o'clock can't come fast enough. And I had music on shuffle, and Mnerva by Deftones came on, and I was like listening to it, and I heard it in a new way. It was like, wow, what if someone took like these like crazy atmospheric guitars and synths and like put like trap drums over it? That was like the original template for like what I wanted Mnerva to sound like. And it's since evolved from there to be a lot more rock, which I've been very here for. But yeah, so like with that sonic template, I was like, okay, I love the name Minerva. What does that mean? So I looked it up, and it's the Roman goddess of wisdom. So I was like, all right, I want to change the conventional wisdom of like fusing rock and hip hop, because it's always been like this really corny thing, like in like, the popular subconscious, which I hate because I love like Linkin Park and Papa Roach and all those bands from like back in the day. They're like some of my favorites. But I was like, cool. Well, like, how do we do this for 2021? How do we do this for like modern audiences in a way that's going to like touch people and still like make people move? And so that the name is kind of like my guiding light, if you will, to like everything I want to achieve as an artist.
Yeah, I get you. It's definitely one that sticks in your mind. You hear it and you're like, oh, what's that? I need to find out more.
Yeah, that's definitely. It's what does that even mean, man? I don't know, but it's provocative. In the words of Step Brothers.
Yeah. So you've been performing as a solo artist for roughly around 2 years. What was before that? What led to this?
Oh God, so many things. Well, I think the big one is I wrote a musical. That happened. That was kind of how I got my career started. Actually,
I was going to bring that up. Actually, you kind of went a bit viral.
Just a little bit. But even before I did all that, I was a band kid. Like I played drums and sang in a band called Remedy for a long time. That was a piano rock band. It was kind of like take like Coldplay and put it with like 3 Days Grace. Was how I like described it. But that was like how I got the songwriting bug, because like I'd be playing drums, but I was like, all my other bandmates would be bringing like songs to the table, and I'm like, oh, what if we did this? They're like, you're the drummer, you can't have an opinion. And I was like, fuck you guys. Like, except not, I love those kids. But that was kind of how it all got started. And then when I moved to Nashville, I was like, I'm gonna like start this band, keep it going. And then everyone was kind of like, I'm doing my own thing. And so I was like, all right, well, if you can't beat them, join them. And that was when I kind of got the idea for Mnerva and started out with the solo artist project. But really, it's been cool developing it over time, because like I got a consistent band now who like, are definitely in it as well. And it's like, yeah, my name is on the poster, if you will. And like, that's where I'm financing it, but it feels good to like have that, like that team that is consistent with you. Cause like,
yeah,
I don't know. It's a very lonely job if you just do it all yourself.
I could imagine. The Nashville though, over here at least, when you think Nashville, you think country music.
Oh, that's what you think.
Yeah, it's an unusual sound to be coming from out of Nashville. Was it for music that you moved to Nashville, or was it?
Yeah, so I went for college was where it started. So I remember visiting Nashville and being like, yes, 75-80% of this is country, but there's like this weird 20% that like does like Nashville pop, for example, has grown so much in the last 6 years that I've been here. And like, there's also this rock scene, there's this hip hop scene. And I was like, okay, well, I want to go to Nashville to learn how to write songs. Cause like, I felt like that was the biggest thing I needed when I first went to school. And what better place to go than like the country music capital of the world, where like the songwriting is just so good.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I've found like-minded individuals then over time that have definitely helped me with creating my sound and pushing me as a writer. So I do not regret going to Nashville from that perspective. Is it the right scene necessarily for what I make? No, but it's been a really good jumping off point. And I can't wait to like, get to that next phase when I do find that scene that really like, is more fitting.
Yeah. From a songwriting point of view, then how do you approach it? It's the whole rap with rock thing. I imagine it's it could be tricky. It's obviously harder than just setting out to write a rock song or setting out to write a rap song. How do you approach it?
So I write most of my raps a cappella, which is definitely a very uncommon thing. Like most people like have a beat and then just loop the beat and like start like flowing over that. But like, again, with the drumming background, it's like, I already know the rhythms and I can like, all I need is a click track. And so what I usually do for each of my sessions with my producer is I'll just get a voice memo, get a click going, and then just rap the entire song, like, just front to back, you know what I mean? Yeah. And then if they're singing in it, I'll usually lay down piano with some chord structure just to get started. And then it's really fun being in session because like he knows exactly what I want because we've been working together for like over a year now. And it's like, all right, cool. Well, I'm thinking like this influence. Let's see what happens. Let's see what comes up. And it's really fun because when you have that just an acapella with rap, you can put literally any rap over literally anything. And it's really cool then being like, all right, well, let's bring in some Grandson this time around. Let's bring in some like 21 Pilots this time around. Let's bring in some NF here. And it's like, you can do that.
Yeah.
If you have chord structure, it's like, oh, okay, well, we got to stick to like this basic structure right here. I think rap is a really freeing art form for that reason.
Yeah. It's great that there's still artists around today that are doing it. You know, like as you said, the old days of Linkin Park and Papa Roach, guys like that. It's like it's not at the forefront like it used to be anymore. And it's great to see people like yourself bringing it back and actually being good at it, you know, because there's so many people that try it that they're just not up to par. But then yourself, obviously, I've been listening to your songs since I stumbled upon you. And one thing I can say really comes across in the lyrics and the songs is the passion and the feeling. You know, it jumps out of the speakers at you. It's definitely one of my favorite things to listen to the last few weeks anyway.
Yeah, thank you so much, man. I appreciate that.
No problem.
You know, man, if I'm one thing, it's a very high energy human being. And it's very, like, I really do love what I do. And it's like, it's been cool going through, like when I started Mnerva, it started out as a primarily hip hop avenue. And like, I feel like with time and just the way I've developed as a human, of not feeling the need to like fit other people's molds as much. It's definitely been really cool to like dive deeper into like what gets me going as a musician. And then the vocal takes like, I mean, you hear it. I mean, like I'm excited about what I'm doing because this is like all I've ever wanted. And then getting also open up about my mental health stuff on top of it all has been very freeing because it's like, hey, I know that I'm not the only one who feels this way. And having people like being able to say like, hey man, like this song is really like, you know, spoke to me. This is exactly how I'm feeling. I'm like, good. Like I'm making this so that we can like, you know, form community, if you will.
Yeah. That must have been quite challenging at first to start opening up through music about your mental health.
You know, I'm going to be honest, man, that was free therapy. Like that, I'm definitely, I mean, I literally say it in my record, I talk too much. And like, that's rap in particular has a really great thing of it has to have a lot of words. So you can like really dive into topics really deeply because you have the time to do it and the space to do it. And so, yeah, I know for me, like writing a song like Quarter Life Crisis, I was like, oh my God, I've been waiting to talk about this for years. This is so nice. Or something like The Interview, like the last song off my project. That one, on the other hand, it took me 5 years to get that one right. Like I rewrote that one. I started in March of 2016 and like now 5 years later, it's finally out to the world, which is wild. And it's like, yeah, I know definitely with that, I probably rewrote those verses at least like 15 times, probably over the course of like, that song just kept following me because I knew like, I hope it gets better than this. That's like everything I've ever wanted to say. Now I got to make that's here. The rest of the song's here. I need to get it all up here. And I really feel like it took a while, but I got it.
Yeah. Perfect question for you. So how do you know when a song is ready, when you can't add any more to it? I know it's probably an impossible question now to answer, but.
I can look at it from a mathematical perspective and I can look at it from an emotional perspective. The mathematical perspective is I have a very strict song formula. Like I know everyone's like formula. Ooh, no, don't do that. But, like I think that like it's a good place to start and then you can always break it later. But the way I look at lyric writing is like, cool, your first line grabs attention. Your second line like expounds upon what you just talked about in the first line. Third line's free. You can kind of say whatever you want there, but it's usually a setup line then for your punchline. That punchline better get an emotional response out of people, like whether it's a big one or a small one. But like by the time you get to the end of the 16, like in rap, like that last line you do in the verse, like that really has to hit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I can look at a lyric and be like, okay, cool. I'm checking all the boxes here. Like this does exactly, it functions the way I want to. But I know for me, it's like, do I perform this and either fear it? Like that's a good thing actually. Cause like, oh my God, I can't believe I'm saying this. Or I'm just like, wow, I feel like at peace whenever
yeah, like a release almost.
Yeah. Like once I get there, then I'm like, no, this is good. And I think that both of those, the mathematical and the more feel equation, have to fit together before I'm truly happy with a lyric.
Yeah, yeah. I feel like we're after just getting like a master class in songwriting here. If you want, I can edit that out, not to give away your secret.
No, oh man, please. I actually used to teach a songwriting class at Belmont. Long story short, I was a songwriting major, and my one of my professors, he really enjoyed me and just had me come into a class one day to like, give advice to everybody. And then I enjoyed it so much, I just came to every class after that. So, I wasn't the teacher because I wasn't paid, but it was like, she was like the good cop. And I was like, yo, your song sucks. Here's why. But no, it was really fun. I remember a lot of the girls, I was an all female class, came up to me like halfway through the year and they're like, well, to be honest, I care so much more about what you think than the teacher thinks. And I was
Oh
like,
man.
because they knew I wouldn't bullshit them. Like if I said, this is good and here's why, like that really meant something. And I was like,
yeah.
I would teach songwriting in a heartbeat. I absolutely love the craft. I think it's so cool.
Yeah. It's it must be great to feel like that though, because I find like with bands, with musicians, songwriting can be so daunting almost. It's almost, or it could feel like homework. It's like, oh, I have to come up with this song. I have to sit down, get these lyrics out. I've heard people say they pick random words out of a dictionary and try to turn that into a full length song. But to feel like you do, it's obviously a bonus when you're, a musician.
Yeah, it's interesting. I really don't write songs all the time. Like, especially in Nashville, like it's literally the song capital of the world. Like people are writing like 2-3 songs a day and that's their job. Like you have a publishing deal. And I definitely don't do that. Like especially anymore, like I'm lucky if I write a song every, for Mnerva, at least a song every month, probably. But like whenever I do, and I don't mean this in an arrogant way whatsoever, but it's like, I know it's going to be at that bar that I have for myself and it's going to be something I can use because I don't just write a song for the sake of writing a song. I wait till I have something I want to say first, then I write that song.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then I work on that song for weeks and do whatever I have to do to get it where it is. And I'm happy because now at 25, I write songs a lot faster than I did when I was like 19. Because, oh my God, it used to be like 4 hours. I just got like 4 lines and it was like, please kill me. I don't do that anymore. Like, I don't do that. But I feel like I'm much more like equipped to work through the sewer pipe and get to the good ideas, if that makes sense. Because anytime you do anything creative or anything writing wise, it's like you turn on the faucet and then like a bunch of mud comes out before like, it eventually like just has a free flowing, like, oh my God, I have all my ideas. Like going back to the song Talk Too Much, I loved writing that song because since it's 32 plus 32 plus 16, I mean, it's like 80 bars or something like that, right? And with that in mind, it's like, okay, well, I had so much time to like, work through that pipe. So like the first verse, like, yeah, it took me a little while to like get started, but like once I got going, it's like, well, okay, then I could do this, then I could do this. Oh, then I could do this. It's like, it just kept going. And before I knew it, I'm like, this is one of the longest lyrics I've ever written in my life, but this was so much easier than writing like a 4-line verse with a 2-line chorus, like, because I had time to explore it and like get going.
Yeah, I get you. You mentioned earlier on that you wrote a play and you went a bit viral. Would you like to tell us about that?
Totally. So the way I started my career, before I decided to do Mnerva and everything, I have a big theater background and I really try to do what I can to show that in my Mnerva stuff. Like my debut EP, Talk Too Much, it starts with an overture, for example, because I knew, okay, cool, like this is a huge part of how I got to where I am today. I want to like, still include that. I actually, I'm almost done with my next record, actually, on top of it all, even though I just finished the, right before this interview, I actually just got the last person singing on my finale choir. So,
oh, cool.
So yeah, that's in the works, probably coming next year. But so my big theater background. And when I was 19, I first discovered 21 Pilots. And I remember listening to their album Blurry Face and just being in love with it. I was like, this is the coolest music I've heard in a long time. And so I remember hearing the last song on that record, Goner. And I don't know why, but I just saw a stage show. Like when I heard it, I was like, okay, I could see this exact thing clear as day. This is so cool. And from there, I was like, someone should turn this into a musical. I'm going to turn this into a musical. I had never had any experience writing the script or doing anything. I just was like, I had an idea and I just followed it. And before I knew it, I was putting on a workshop in Nashville. I moved to New York. I put it on in New York, like off Broadway, and then for a free show, so I wouldn't have gotten sued. And we're getting there. And yeah, so I recorded it at that point. I made a trailer for it, and then I released it just online on Instagram. Like TikTok was still like not the household name it is now. Oh God, I wonder what it would have been like had I done it on TikTok. My God.
Yeah, geez.
But yeah, so it ended up going very viral within the 21 Pilots fan community because I was reaching out to like 21 Pilots influencers left and right to like promote it. And yeah, it went pretty crazy. Half the fans were like, "Oh my God, he's brilliant. I love this. This is crazy." And then half of them were like, "Oh my God, please kill yourself." I wish I got a lot of death threats for that one from like 15-year-olds. But yeah, so basically, long story short, after like 3 weeks of working on this project nonstop and promoting it, I eventually hit up their manager because his email's on their Facebook page for 21 Pilots. And yeah, unfortunately, he hit me back with a cease and desist letter. So that was the end of that project. But it was really cool because that's how I started Mnerva, because I then posted that like, hey, like this project's dead, but I'm also a hip hop artist myself. If you guys want to follow what I'm doing, go follow Mnerva Official. And I mean, a lot of people did. I think I got like 700 follows, like from like that blurry face situation or something like that, like overnight. And a lot of them have stayed with me since then. And like, that was really the base I had to like, get my music started. Cause like I have so many friends who like just release music, and like trying to get that initial like 12 people into it is really hard.
Trying to get the traction.
Yeah. And I definitely had that in the beginning, which was super cool. And a lot of them have like, left since then, but a lot of them have stayed. It's been really cool. And like, I got a couple, whenever I'm feeling down, I always think about certain fans actually that I have that like have been there literally since day one. It's like, I'm not doing it for me. I'm doing it for them.
Yeah. Yeah. Jeez. It's you sure now you didn't plan it all from the start and, this was going to be the outcome? Because it seems like the perfect plan.
If I'm being honest with you, I definitely, because I was working on the musical and also Mnerva at the same time. And I knew the musical was a risk. I knew, okay, look, I could get the cease and desist letter. And if I do, I should make sure I have another project ready. So I'm not just like having my entire life on hold, trying to like completely reel. So like, with that in mind, yes, I definitely did prep for some Mnerva stuff just in case. And it paid off.
That's the main thing.
Yeah. So,
you good. You come across as a guy that when you get an idea and you get passionate about it, you go all in. You seem to have a very, very strong work ethic. Where does that come from? Is it something that's always been with you?
It has. I definitely feel like I'm nothing compared to how I was when I was 19. Like, right. Oh my God, that motherfucker was self-possessed. And I found a lot more balance in my life at this point, which is a good thing. But I'd say a lot of it comes from just, I was bullied a lot as a kid. And so like definitely showing people they're wrong was very much a big thing for me. And like, hey, that I can do this dream and make something of myself, and like, proving to other people that I'm worth something. But then it came into like self-worth issues, like who am I without my work and without my art, without my music? And I've like gone through a lot of therapy at this point in the last year, which is like the best thing I could have ever done. Can't recommend it enough for people. And a big part of that has been like, hey, you are enough. You are not your work. You are not any of this stuff. Like they are extensions of you. They are not your full self. And so I know for me, like with my work ethic at this point is very much of, I do it because I want to be happy. And I know that working on music makes me happy. So, since I want to get the total sum of happiness I possibly can, I know that even though music has a lot of challenges, that will be that'll be the way for me to get the most fulfillment in life. So I'm going to keep pursuing it until I can't anymore.
Good. There's definitely some points you mentioned there, though, that many people, myself included, can relate to. I know I've went through times in life where I was kind of thinking, who am I? What defines me? Does the job I'm working at the moment define me? Is this all I am? Or is there, is there any other sides to me? And I think even if it goes unspoken, everybody has a period in their life where they get hit with that sort of reality and they have to work it out, what may it be going to therapy or whatever way to do. Some people turn to music, but yeah, it's definitely, I don't know, it's just it's tough. It can be tough to work through it. And it brings me on to quarter life crisis. That's actually a term. Even the title, it's a term I'd never heard of, but when I read it, I was like, oh my God, yes. I know exactly what that is. I remember my mid to late 20s. I feel like I was like, I'm having an early midlife crisis. I can't say midlife crisis. What do I call it? And a couple of years later, there it is, quarter life crisis. How did that come about?
So that song was very much, I think I wrote it when I was like 21, if I remember correctly, like the beginnings of it. I finished it much, much later. But yeah, I just remember, I feel like society has so much like expectations for like what you're supposed to be by certain ages. And it's
Yes.
based on movies, based on media. And the 20s are this really weird, forgotten, glossed over period, in my opinion. Like you have a million like high school dramas and like, like that phase of your life and what it's supposed to look like. And like stuff like Friends, for example, or like How I Met Your Mother, those talk a lot about like your late 20s and like going into your 30s and like what happens as you start to settle down in life. But like that like 22 to like 26-year-old period is a really weird one because like you're supposed to have the job according to like society. You're supposed to have like the girlfriend or boyfriend. You're supposed to like be starting to get married and like, all this stuff. But like, why?
Exactly.
Like, do it if you want. Like, I have friends who got married last week, for example, and like, I couldn't support them more on that because like, that's what they want, and that's really like where they're at in life. But like, why do we have to have this one size fits all like situation for like every person? Because that's like, I am so not there yet, and like, I'm glad that my girlfriend isn't either. My God, that makes me so happy, and that's necessary. And I just feel like the quarter life crisis is trying to accept that you are not this cookie cutter person that we're fed our whole lives of who we're supposed to be. I feel like I was raised by boomers. I know a lot of friends who were by Gen Xers, and like my parents are incredible, and I can't sing the praises more, but I know definitely with extended family and people in that generation, it was like, okay, you go to college, you then get a job, you then settle down, you then have kids. Like that's the order of operations of life. And like that doesn't be the case. So I think quarter life crisis is just about feeling like you want to die because you don't do that, if that makes sense. Because I mean, crisis, like you feel like you're a failure and that like, you're never going to get out of this. And like, this is how you're going to feel for the rest of your adult life because this is your first taste of adult life.
Yeah. That's it's like society almost wants to keep you down because at least over here, I feel like, you're told, as you said, by a certain age, you have to have gone to college, have met the girl or boy, start to get married, have kids. And it's like, if you miss one of them points on the journey, you failed. And as you said, you start to feel like a failure. And I think that's a major problem and a major contributing issue to mental health, especially in the younger generation, from 20 to 30. And something seriously needs to be done about it, and something like it needs to flip. Everybody needs to realize, you're not in a race against anyone else. The only person you're in a race against is yourself, And
I know with the way social media is like, exploded in the last 10 years, I can't wait. I always say this, I cannot wait till Instagram dies because the culture of Instagram is I have to come off as perfect. And I'm saying that as a total hypocrite because my Instagram is totally curated content, but that's how the platform works. And it's like, I love stuff like TikTok where it's like, oh, I'm a fucking goblet in a mess. But like, that's what they want to see. That's like the content that does well on TikTok. So like when it comes to comparison, like you see your friends and family getting the good jobs, like, you don't see them having the mental breakdowns about feeling like they don't measure up to to society's expectations. You only see the smiling, and it's like I say, like, am I the only one that feel like this because I'm addicted to my phone and that scrolling shit, and I've been double tapping pics like there's something I missed. Everybody's smiling, and I got nothing to script. So it's like it's so easy to compare yourself with that, and also like, I mean, we've literally found a way to quantify love, like through like likes. It's like, you know, if I get like 50 likes on this photo where someone else gets like 300, it's like, are they more loved than me? My logical brain says yes, but that's bullshit. And so, yeah, I think all those are contributing factors to why quarter life crises are hitting harder than they used to.
Well, I couldn't agree more with the whole Instagram dying. I think the greatest thing that could happen to the world is that all social media just switches off. You know, we take a step back, because as you said, you're just looking at the best parts of people's lives. No one's going to show you when they're crying or when they're feeling down. You know, it's just a highlight reel of the best parts of people's lives. You know, maybe when I remember seeing this film years ago where this guy had died and he went to heaven, and they showed him the best parts of your life, or the best parts of his life. So maybe, you know, when you're 80 years of age and you're on your deathbed, then look at Instagram and see the best parts of your life. But don't be comparing your Instagram to someone else's Instagram, you know, because it'll get you nowhere.
I remember I went to this one show once, and this one artist was playing, and they weren't very good, if I'm being honest. And I remember seeing the post about it later about like, oh my God, it felt so good to connect with all of you and see all your wonderful faces. I'm like, there weren't any people there. I was at that show. You were playing to an almost empty room. But like, according to Instagram, you see like the photos and stuff, like that person looked like, you know, like a superstar. And it's just really funny how that works out. And it's like, there's this inauthenticity that just drives me crazy. And again, like, I can't say I haven't done this in my life. It's just, it's so easy to be like, that is reality. Or like, say you like hit someone up and they don't respond to you. It's so easy to go inward and like, oh my God, what's wrong with me? When in reality, it's like, well, they're also a human being. They probably have shit going on too. And that's okay. Yeah. Like, you did nothing wrong by hitting them up. And if they don't want to, if you extended the olive branch, they don't take it, that's on them. That's not you.
I feel like as well, when, as you said, hitting someone up, it's like we're almost, we expect an instantaneous reply because everything is instantaneous, you know. And as you said, people have lives, but people seem to expect, like, you send someone a message and within 5 minutes, if they don't reply, they're not interested.
Yeah.
You know, but sure, nobody is sitting around on their phone waiting for messages. Yeah. You know,
well, and they are like, first off, why? Second off, like, what do you do today?
Yeah, true. We better move on anywhere else. We don't want to have the listeners crying. We get a bit more upbeat. Your EP, you released it on the 15th of October.
I did, yes.
That must have been very exciting.
It was probably one of the most validating experiences of my life, just simply because, like, it really was a culmination of 5 years of creativity. Because, as I said, like, the interview, I wrote that in March of 2016, and like songs like Picture Perfect, I mean, I started that in like January of 2017. That one also went a million rewrites. Oh my God. Or like, God, what else? Like Quarter Life Crisis was like 2018. Like as I'm saying, so it was like each song represents like a different year in my life, which I'm just putting together now, actually, as I say this. Yeah, I think every song on that project was actually written in a different year.
Jeez.
Wait, let me actually think about this. Holy fuck, yeah, that is the case. Wow. Okay, yeah, because the interview was 2016, Picture Perfect was 2017, Quarter Life Crisis was 2018, Talk Too Much was 2019, I'm Not You was 2020, and then Overture was 21. Wow,
that's
cool.
Actually amazing, especially that it's unplanned.
Yeah, no, that was totally unplanned. Wow, that's crazy. Okay, cool. My next record will all be in 1 year. It's fine.
I was just going to say, should we expect like a 5 or 6 year gap now between the next record?
Definitely not. I promise. Definitely not. Yeah. It's going to mix right now, which is super crazy. So
brilliant.
But with Talk Too Much though, it definitely was. It was really cool to have that, and also just to listen through it like on Spotify front to back. Like I'm such an album guy and I always have been. I remember like going to like, do you have FYE over in Ireland?
FYE.
Like a CD store?
We have CD stores, not as many as we used to, but they're called golden discs.
Ooh, cool. Yeah. So we definitely, I remember going to this one store and like, I spent like all the money I had in high school on like CDs. And looking back now, I'm like, oh my God, I wasted so much money. I could have used Spotify.
Yeah.
Like, there's something about like just going through an album and like, not to sound pretentious at all. It's just, it feels so much more special than singles in my opinion. Like when you have that intention, like it's been really cool for me having people listen through the album and pick up on all the little Easter eggs I put in throughout the whole thing. Like in the interview, in the second verse, for example, I literally like say every song title of every song on the record because like I want, for me, like I think music should be that kind of thing where like if you want to just consume it on a surface level, it better be good and fit all that criteria. If you need to dig deep in order to enjoy it in the first place, it's probably not a good song. But I love like having it so that like, hey, if you want to dive deeper, there's other layers to things in case you want to see it. That's why I put like an overture on the project. So like you can listen through the whole project and then go back to it and be like, oh, that's that song. Oh, that's that song. Oh crap, how do you do that? Like stuff like that. So it's I think opportunities for deeper listening can only happen when you do a cohesive project. So to finally have one, like I've been planning EP releases since like 2012, like with like Remedy and shit. So like my old band, and to finally pull the trigger and actually do it, that was incredible.
Oh, I can imagine, especially after that length of time. How has the reception been?
Reception's been good. Yeah. I mean, just a lot of, so as far as a numbers perspective go, like, numbers are doing good. I mean, I'm much more curious about like who's listening to the overture, if I'm being honest, because like I'm kind of gauging how many people are listening to the whole project based on that stream count, less so on the singles stream count.
Right.
Does that make sense? So like right now, I can tell you like 200 people have listened to this record front to back, and like that's crazy. Like that's really crazy. So I care a lot more about that than getting like 40,000 streams on Talk Too Much, which I'm super proud of course, but it's like that actual fan interaction, I think that's a lot more telling. And I know my goal for the rest of the year is really to feel like I'm a part of the Nashville music scene so that I can like have this really as home base. Cause I've been in a cave for like the last 2 years, like with COVID and everything. So really have this place feel like home base so that I can go tour and then come back here. And like, this can be like the homecoming kind of situation.
Yeah. Oh, that'd be epic. Yeah. I get what you mean though. Cause even with me with the podcast, it's like, I don't really count how many listens or downloads I get. It's all about the fans that actually reach out and send me a message after listening to an episode, you know? Exactly. Or even if it's so much to say as I've really enjoyed the guest you had on, or, oh, you introduced me to new music. Thank you. You know, that you value that way more than, 200, 300 people listened, you know?
And that's, I think that we always focus so hard on like, oh, I have to get like 1 million streams in the song in order for people to take me seriously. And it's like, yes, you do have a certain portion of that. Cause like there's a psychological thing when it comes to numbers, but it's also like, yeah, cool. They listened to your song once and never did again. Great. Like, you know what I mean? Yeah. I care a lot more about when the songs get taken off the big playlist and are like, now how many people are still listening to it?
Yeah, actually.
Yeah, because like that's a lot more telling. Because like, look, no, like I have 20,000 monthly listeners right now, and that's like amazing. But like, am I going to have that in 3 months? No, like that's because I'm in promotion cycle right now. And so where that I remember what last time in between my last singles and Talk Too Much is cycle, I was amazed because I was like, wow, I still have 500 people listening to me monthly. Like that's crazy, actually. When you really think about it, like when I haven't released a song in 9 months.
Yeah. 500 people, that's a good sized gig. Like,
yeah, exactly. And it's like, cool. Like, if you can get all those people to go to a show, obviously they're all across the world, but it's like, you know, if I like, then that's like an insane set, you know what I mean? And I think looking at like, there are like listeners and then there are fans. You really only need like 1,000 fans, like to really like, you know, like assuming every single one of them buys concert tickets, merch, buys and streams your music constantly and tells everyone they know about it. That's all you actually like. Say they buy $50 worth of merch. Well, that's like what, like, I mean, that's like $50,000 right there.
Yeah.
Yeah. And like that's pretty great. So again, so it's a matter of perspective. And yeah, obviously I can't wait to get to the point, hopefully, where I have 1 million streams or even 100,000. Like the moment I hit 100,000 on a song, I'm so happy. I'm working so hard to try to get that.
Yeah, geez. You'll have to celebrate in a big way. You'll have to like
Yeah,
take some time off and really like, I don't know, just go wild altogether.
Exactly. So I don't know. It's I always laugh because I always say these things. I'm like, God, this is such good perspective advice. Why don't I listen to this? Like, stop getting down on yourself that you don't have people listening to your fucking songs. You do.
Yeah. That's back to society again, though. It's the way it has us. But yeah, how do you feel now the way the music industry has kind of changed? It's shifted towards everyone is more so releasing singles, and nobody is really, well, not as many people are releasing albums. It's all about the singles.
I really understand it. And so because of that, I really don't have as much of a problem with it. I got this one friend of a friend, his name's John Harvey, and he blew up on TikTok. He's like doing incredible. He's got signed recently. And now he's working on like a full length, like album because he's got like label backing him and everything else. And I think that in this current music scene, I think you got to wait for an album for people to want an album from you, if that makes sense. I don't mean just like your family and friends. I mean like people want it. Like, yeah, I think sticking to singles has to be the way to get people involved because attention spans are so bad nowadays. And like you got to capture people in like 3 minutes, and it's hard to make people care about you. And so like, no, if they have to listen through a whole record to like get who you are, that's probably a problem.
Yeah. I was speaking to a couple of guys from England a couple of weeks ago, and they had an interesting take on it. They were actually releasing all their singles every 2 weeks to kind of combat the short attention span, and it was a very unique idea, but I don't know, it is good, but will it actually work is another thing, because you can only have so many singles. When they're all gone, is everyone going to be like, what now?
My perspective on that is, I think, and this is one reason I love theater. I love theater for this reason. Like, I really feel like the audience appreciates the art. Like, I mean, don't get me wrong, we're pretentious as shit whenever it comes to, like our art and analyzing things. But, and it's because the time it takes to make like a musical takes so long and so much money and so much like just blood, sweat, and tears. With music, it's not really the same case. Like, I mean, you can make a song in a day if you want, and it can be like a Grammy Award-winning hit, which is incredible. Like the fact that you can do that in a bedroom, you couldn't do that years ago. No. But I think that there should be a respect for the art that you've made. Like, I know for me, like, even though my next record's almost done, like, I'm not going to release that thing for months, if not like, a year. You know what I mean? Because I'm like, I want to give Talk Too Much all the credit it deserves and like really like try and make it pop for as many people as possible. You know what I mean? Like, because even if it's not new to you, it's new to someone else. Yeah. And so when I see people getting into the single every 2 week model and the single a month model, like, again, it works. I respect it. I did it for Talk Too Much. I did a single every month until like the album came out. But it's also like, cool. Then it's a song. It's not like this special thing that you put your time into. It's like, oh yeah, song now. Oh, and another song. It's like, oh yeah, cool. So why should I have cared about the last song you just put out when you're already getting the other one soon? And I think it's a little counterintuitive sometimes. I can't lie. So I know I will probably never do that perspective, but like, I think the quickest you can do is a song a month, because I have a feeling you should let people exhaust the last thing you did before you, what's the word for it? It's like what Apple does with like making themselves obsolete. That's it. Like, don't make your last song obsolete before it's run its course. Yeah, exactly. Because, someone could be just after finding it. And I know me personally, it takes a couple of listens to a song to actually get into it. The first one's like, oh, what's this? The second one's like, by the third or fourth time, you're like, I'm really liking this song now. Yeah. But, someone could just come across it, listen to it once, and then it's on to the next one. I don't think you'd make any actual lasting fans that way. Yeah. It's a really good way for people just to discover you in general. And the actual Spotify algorithm loves it because you're pumping out content. And like, we live in this society where like, it's all about what are you doing next? It's not what you've done. And I think that there needs to be a balance between those two schools of thought, in my opinion.
Yeah. So what can people expect when they come to one of your shows?
Oh, yay. So playing live is the whole reason I'm an artist. Every job has bullshit that you don't like doing, and being a musician is no different there. But playing live is my reward for it. Like I always say, I always quote 21 Pilots, like my creativity is only free when I'm playing shows. And it's like, that is really, I didn't understand that lyric truly until I started playing out. And so I had like a gig every 2 weeks for like the last 3 months, like in Nashville. So great, because I just got to like, really build this band and really build this, like, get extremely comfortable on stage. Because I already like was a pretty good performer, if I'm being honest, but like from the last 3 months, it's been like, okay, cool. Now like I know how to do this, because like, I'm doing it it's been part of my routine now. And what you can expect from a Mnerva show is really high energy performance. Like very much, I'm going to try to make it about you as much as it is about me, if not more. Because I think that shows, once you release a song, it's not yours anymore. So I really think that shows, it's like, if I can try and, my job is to be a conduit for connection, I'd say. So it's like, like anytime I play the interview live, I mean, I always see at least like 5 people crying, which is really cool, because sometimes I know them, sometimes I don't.
Yeah.
Like, if I can give someone that catharsis and that release, that's like the best thing I can do. And so it's my job to feel something up here so I can make you guys feel something in return.
Yeah. You're giving out energy to get it back.
Yeah.
Vice versa.
And yeah, it's very much oh God, what was I saying? It's very much one of those situations where like, the more you make it about them, the more they're going to want to come back.
Yeah.
It drives me crazy when I see artists who are very selfish with their live performances. And like, obviously it's your show. It's going to be about you in the grand scheme of things. But also it's like, if you make it about the people coming to see you, they're going to want to see you more often.
Yeah, exactly.
And so from the more nitty gritty perspective, what can you expect when you see me playing a lot of different instruments. I play drums, I play keys, I sing and rap and scream. So it's me having a lot of hats. It's just, and very much like a well thought out production. Like I'm very big on like no time in between songs, or like I think of live shows like an act structure, if you will, because theater. So like, cool. So first act is like all the songs strung together until I get to the first talking break, talk to the audience. Next act, okay, cool. And each act needs to end on like a climax. It's like the exact same way I looked at like that lyric breakdown, if I'm being honest.
Yeah.
And it's that rise and fall of energy is how I structure live shows.
I was getting so worried there until I heard you say the talk break, because I hate when you go to a show and there's no interaction with the audience. Yeah. I've been to shows before and it's literally they come on stage and it's one song into the next and that's it for the whole show. There's no, it was like basically going to watch someone rehearse, and the audience were invisible.
But I also think like, oh God, nothing drives me more crazy than when you like go to a show and every song ends, they're like, woo. And then the guy just starts awkwardly talking about the next song every time. I'm like, guys.
Yeah.
Some thought into this.
That's the other end of it, of course.
Yeah. So I try to strike a balance with that, but definitely anytime you can talk over music, I think is good.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm just using that as a safety blanket. I probably am, but at the same time, it's like, that is definitely how it's going to work.
Yeah. We'll move on to the last few questions.
Yes, yeah.
If you could see any performer from history for one night only in concert, who would it be?
God, dead or alive?
Either or.
All right. Right now, what I'm thinking off the top of my head, I would have loved to seen Alice in Chains before Lane Staley died.
Really?
Yeah, that'd be a big one. Like they were a very big band for me growing up. Like I had a very good grunge voice impression when I first got started singing before I found my own voice. And yeah, no, I think that band was just a special band. And like he could do so much with so little, if that makes sense. Like he could just be standing there just singing on a mic and you wouldn't care. It's like, he didn't need to do any of the flashy like stage tricks or like,
Yeah.
his voice just did it all. And like the pain that man felt every time he sang was wonderful. On that same token, also getting to see Soundgarden live. I had a chance to when I was probably 18 or so, and I didn't do it because I was like, I'll just see
man.
next time I come around. And then obviously Chris Cornell died. But I was so lucky to see like Linkin Park before Chester passed away. But yeah, either of those two would definitely be times. As far as timing when I'd see them, I'd probably see Soundgarden on the Super Unknown tour before his second vocal surgery. Because he was just exceptional at that point in his life. So that would have been around like 1994. I probably would have seen Alice in Chains around like 93. Yeah, like right after they released. Actually, no, they didn't tour after that. So right after they released Dirt, I would have loved to see them when they were still playing Jar of Flies stuff, but they didn't actually tour after that record because Lane had a really bad heroin addiction.
Yeah.
I'm a music encyclopedia. Ignore me.
I was just going to say, do you think any of your fans or people listening to your music would be surprised by those answers? I think they might.
Yeah, probably.
I wasn't expecting them anyway. And there's some great answers there. Two amazing bands.
I'm definitely a rock guy at heart. Like I always like, that's really what I grew up on. Like that's what I really mainly listen to at this point. Actually, like my music taste has just gotten heavier as I've gotten older, and it's like I'm in like such a slip my face right now. My God, I love it. But it's funny because my art of choice is more hip hop typically based, but like I think that's what makes me a unique artist is because I am a rock guy, but my avenue for creativity has been rap in the past.
Yeah. It's an interesting take. It's not something you come across very often.
Yeah.
Because everyone would expect you to be a heavy rock guy then.
Yeah. Well, look at me. Like, I don't have the long hair. I don't have like, wearing the clothes from the 70s. Like, I don't know. I feel like, and this is probably a hot take, but I'll be the first to say it. Like, so whenever I see like rock bands who are still dressing like that and like in that like old school rock thing, just doing guitar based drums, I'm like, guys, we have 50 years of this. Like, even bands like Highly Suspect or like Bad Flower, like there's something about them that is moving forward. And like, I think progress is such an important thing and not trying to just go back. Like, yes, I'm doing music that's very like early 2000s inspired, but I'm also like, how can I move this forward? Like with electronic music production, for example, and like, how can I, or like pop structure melodies, like on top of like, this rap rock shit. And it's like, that excites me because I haven't heard that before. And I feel like, even though I have such an appreciation for old music, I think that appreciating it is one thing, trying to replicate it is another.
Yes, and that's a mistake many have made.
Yeah.
The next question, so it might be a little bit harder. If you could spend 24 hours locked in a room with any artist from history, dead or alive, who would it be?
Okay. I would probably lock myself in a room with Mike Shinoda for 24 hours because I would just have a million questions, like Mike Shinoda of Linkin Park. I just have a million questions about like how he got to where he is now, as far as like, I'm gonna have two answers to this one actually. Mike Shinoda, I would do him for sure because I just would be like, tell me everything about how you got that band off the ground because like I know all the answers, but I need to hear them from you.
Yeah.
I don't know all the answers, but they're Linkin Park's my favorite bands. Like I know that band more than most. Like when they released that Hybrid Theory 20th anniversary box set, I knew probably 75% of the songs already, even though they were all like really demos. So I'm like, that's really bad. I have a problem. But so I would do that and then just dive into like, what was Chester like and what was really more like, how did you write all these songs that made me want to do this with my life? Because like that definitely would just be, because I'm sure he would answer with a lot of the things I've described to you today. Because again, I've analyzed his music a million times. So it's like, I'm sure that'd be a very validating and also a very illuminating experience just to be like, wow, so this is how we do things similarly. This is how we do things differently. And that would be really cool. That, and then I would be like, Okay, Lin-Manuel Miranda. Hi, I'm your real son. Let's talk for 24 hours locked in a room. That man, by far one of my favorite artists that comes out of just any space in general. Like he does mainly theater stuff, obviously, like with Greg Hamilton in the Heights. But I feel like we would just be really good friends from everything I can tell, like in interviews. Like we have very similar energies and just, I mean, we look alike to begin with. I literally have like a TikTok of my face morphing into his, and it's not that far off. It's really scary, actually. And yeah, I just would love to also be like, how did you get like any of these shows to market? Like, where did you get your start? Like, what inspires you? What pushes you, like, you know, to keep going? Like, you have never missed in your life. What is your quality control process like?
I really like your answers. I like how normally it's like, oh, I've idolized this guy since I was, 12 years old. I want to spend some time with him. But I like about you, there are people you've idolized, but you're taking the opportunity to learn from them.
Yeah.
It's something I normally don't hear. Normally it's just like, oh, Elton John, he seems cool, or, Jim Morrison or someone like that.
I'd be going in there with a notebook, like, all right, guys, class session, let's go.
We've got 24 hours. Let's use it wisely.
Right, Red Bull, let's go.
And the final one, if there was a song that could appear on the soundtrack to your life, what would it be?
Stupid Deep by John Bellion.
Jeez, that was quick.
Yeah, that song saved my life. No, that one was a very big. I don't know if you know the song. It's a very simple song. It's off his record Glory Sound Prep. I mean, I can tell you the entire lyric. It's like 8 lines long. But what if who I hoped to be was always me, and the love I fought to feel was always free? What if all the things I've done were just attempts at earning love, because the hole inside my heart is stupid deep? And like that just is kind of like the reason I do everything, is like to fill that hole. And when I heard that song for the first time, I was just like, oh my God. I literally was like driving home from a movie. I was like, oh, John Bellion put out a new song. Let's see what it is. And then like by the end of the song, I'm crying. I'm like, play it again. Play it again. I think I played, like, and then got home, like played it again in the driveway because I was still like just going. And I was like, this is like, I know every word. I'm screaming it by the end of it. And it's like seriously, I can't recommend that song enough. It's a beautiful song. But yeah, I'd say it's a big part of the soundtrack of my life, just because it's like, well, it kind of showed me that like, hey, if this is the thing that I haven't been able to put my finger on that I've been struggling with my whole life, how do I fix it? And also just cool. This is why I do music. This is why I do art. This is why I get paranoid about people leaving me, like in my relationships. This is why, like, because I feel like I have to work for everything I have, when in reality I am enough as a human being, and everyone is. And that's something that is so hard to learn and discover. Yeah. I getcha. Another great answer. Before I let you go, is there a message you want to leave the listeners with? Yeah. So once again, guys, hey, my name's Matt. Artist name is Mnerva. You can follow me on at Mnerva Official on Instagram or TikTok. Instagram, you find all the normal curated fun bullshit. But mainly you'll see like where I'm playing next and everything. Trying to do a little East Coast tour right now of the US. So we're gonna see if that finally happens. But yeah, and you can find my music on all the streaming services, Spotify, Apple Music, Tidal, and all the other fun things. Yeah, so it's gonna be Mnerva with no I, Mnerva. That's where you'll find me. And yeah, on TikTok, you'll see me doing a lot of musical theater stuff as well as some mashup stuff. That's a big little series I'm doing right now. It's been real fun. And yeah, I'm just really excited to keep playing shows and keep moving and try to talk too much, like the greatest chance I can to shine.
Hey, 20-something and I ain't sure how to do this. Why the hell am I trying to make it in music? Trying to predict my future is fucking useless. Hard to do a project when no one gives you a rubric. 3 a.m. overanalyzing, I'm drowsy, with everybody around me sleeping soundly. I keep feeling the life be trying to drown me. Before I know it, I'ma lose my shit, Robert Downey Jr. It's more than my career, cause I ain't got no money and I'm trying to persevere. And I'm not sure if everyone I love an idea disappear in a year. I keep falling for my fears, getting used to having anxiety, now I live in my head. Overthinking slowly becoming my best friend. I'm at 25 to life, that's a hell of a sentence when you don't ever get to spoil the ending. I've hit a quarter-life crisis, I'm indecisive and got a clue. Sun ain't rising on the horizon, I'm feeling blue. I need guidance cause I can fight this shit, I'm confused. Hard don't know what to do. I've hit a quarter-life crisis. Yeah. Hey. Come on. I've hit a quarter-life crisis. Yeah, I've hit a quarter-life. Yeah, am I the only one that feel like this? Cause I'm addicted to my phone and that scrolling shit. And I've been double tapping pics like there's something I missed. Everybody's smiling and I got nothing to script. Am I better off dead? Am I better off a quitter? Should I consider giving up, turn into a sinner? All my life I've been a winner, so I got a lot to prove. And letting people down's the last thing that I wanna do. Cause life isn't a game, and I don't wanna fail and be defined by my mistakes. Push me one step closer, I'm about to break. The clock is passing fast, it's flashing, I'm feeling trapped. Cause nothing does enough, my run out of time for a climb to the top of the pack. Whoa. My greatest fear is mediocrity. Don't wanna settle for conformity. I pray my life's a comedy, but it's feeling like a tragedy. I've hit a quarter-life crisis, I'm indecisive and got a clue. Sun ain't rising on the horizon, I'm feeling blue. I need guidance cause I can fight this shit, I'm confused. I don't know what to do, I've hit a quarter-life crisis. Yeah. I've hit a quarter-life crisis. Yeah. I've hit a quarter-life. I've hit a quarter-life crisis, I'm indecisive and got a clue. Sun ain't rising on the horizon, I'm feeling blue. Need guidance cause I can fight this shit, I'm confused. I don't know what to do. Hit a quarter-life crisis, I'm indecisive and got a clue. Sun ain't rising on the horizon, I'm feeling blue. Need guidance cause I can fight this shit, I'm confused. I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. I don't know. I've hit a quarter-life crisis. I've hit a quarter-life crisis.
Hey guys, I really hope you enjoyed this show. If you did, rate and review us on iTunes. Really helps the show grow. You can find us on social media at Concerts That Made Us Podcast, and be sure to check out our website at www.concertsthatmadeus.com. And if you'd like to support the show, you can do so by signing up at patreon.com/Concerts That Made Us. We've got 3 tiers available. If that's something you're interested in, you'll get access to a private Discord, exclusive uncut video versions of the podcast, early access to ad-free versions of the episodes, and much, much more. So, until next time, keep rocking.
Hey, what are you guys still doing here? The show is over. It's over. You can go home. Go on. We'll see you next time. We'll be here. Bye.